here's your car.
Sorry.
Getting hit.
We are live.
What car do you think would hit Steven? Like, what type of car?
Definitely not an SUV. It would be, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
That was going to be the one.
It'd probably be a big truck.
I don't know. I feel like
Do they still make smart cars?
it'd be a small one, and it would be embarrassing to get hit by, you know? He'd get hit by a smart car and be like, how?
Or just a bicyclist just rolling down the street?
Yeah, that'd make a lot of sense. It's a full moon.
Oh, yes, we're
There's
live.
a lot of just crazy stuff happening. There's a plane crash in Louisville that literally just happened and is kind of taking over social media right now. So my dad is actually at UPS right now and is saying things are absolutely crazy, and there's a 5-mile shelter in place protocol in place right now. So things are wild. Things are absolutely wild. But we're going to try to establish some semblance of normalcy here on our walk and talk to Rupp Arena ahead of Kentucky's season opening matchup against the Nicholls. Don't you dare say state.
Unless it's in the opening paragraph of their preview for this matchup on their website.
Don't you dare say state. Don't you dare say state. But the Colonels of Louisiana are going to be coming to town, and we're excited for it. Kentucky opens as a 30-ish point favorite, depending on which outlet you're looking at, but not a whole lot to be excited for on Nicholls' side. They're coming off back-to-back 20-win seasons. They have the youngest Division I coach in the country, but they replaced basically everybody. Only 3 guys coming back from last year's group. The biggest rebuild to their head coach, who's 30 years old, just signed an extension through 2030, is basically like hey, you did a great job up to this point. You got your work cut out for you this time, but let's reward you in the meantime. So I'm not expecting a perfect effort there from Nicholls, but hey, it's a season opener nonetheless, Zach.
Yeah, Nicholls' head coach is the same age as me, so I was trying to put that into perspective in my head, thinking.
So what are you doing with your life?
It's there's a 30-year-old coaching a Division I men's basketball team right now, and he's been doing it since he was 28, back-to-back 20-win seasons. I think he played maybe a year or 2 at Nicholls as well. Was a pretty solid player as well. Tavon Sadler is his name. So he's proven to be a very good coach so far, at least with his 2-year track record. I think he had stops at LSU, McNeese State, things like that. So he seems to be a good up-and-coming coach. That's probably where the storylines for Nicholls stops, though. Like you said, they have 3 returning pieces, all guys that averaged 5 or 6 points a game last season.
It's 1,800 total points of 2,100 total points from last year's group is gone.
Yeah, so not ideal from a continuity standpoint, but we just saw Georgetown deal with the exact same thing. Came in here, whooped up on Kentucky last week. But I'd say the talent difference is going to be pretty notable between Georgetown and Nicholls in this one. So they're replacing pretty much most of their guys. A lot of new transfers coming in. I think the 3 returning pieces are all going to be starters, though, so there's at least a little bit of continuity there with them. But exactly like you said earlier, Kentucky's a 30-point favorite. This is more of a hopefully Denzel Aberdeen comes in and looks perfectly fine, continues the play that he had against in the Purdue exhibition. It doesn't sound like we'll be getting Jalen Lowe tonight as well. So just kind of a get right, feel it out type game for Kentucky. You've had your 2 monster matchups against Purdue and Georgetown, and now you can kind of ease your way into the start of the season here with Nicholls today and then Valparaiso on Friday going into. Is it crazy to think that Louisville is 7 days away? That really doesn't make sense when I say it out loud.
I do kind of hate it.
I do kind of hate it too, actually.
I hate it.
Especially because YouTube TV and Disney will probably still be fighting like schoolgirls by this time next week, and we won't be able to. Most fans won't even be able to watch that game, but. Yes, so Kentucky, massive favorite. They should win this game pretty easily. I'm really looking for a much improved defensive performance. I'd like to see them just kind of lock in on defense because I thought they kind of stunk it up against Georgetown.
When I wasn't talking about Brandon Garrison or strap-ons on the pregame show.
That was funny. That was funny.
When I wasn't talking about that, I did bring up that Denzel Aberdeen is expected to play. They kind of were, I think the official phrasing was going to be game time decision. They were going to plan on playing, assuming pregame warm-ups went well. And the plan was...
He was out there. Phoenix Stevens, our own, was out there, and he saw him warming up.
The plan was for him to come off the bench with Colin Chandler still starting. I think just kind of recreating what didn't work against Georgetown and just saying, all right, well, let's fix this, and then let's kind of start bringing back the sense of normalcy with Denzel Aberdeen. Jalen Lowe is officially out, so do not expect to see the Pitt transfer in Kentucky's season opener against Nicholls. But so my understanding, Zach, get your take on this. They both practiced yesterday. Both looked very good at practice yesterday. Both went full strength, full speed, and the entirety of practice yesterday without any setbacks or anything like that. So
good.
We are at a point now where don't expect anything lingering. Don't expect anything to
Walker Horn jersey.
Walker Horn jersey.
Love it.
I love that jersey. Shout out Walker Horn jersey.
Shout out to the Walker
I love
Horn
it.
jersey.
So yeah, don't expect anything lingering there with either of Kentucky's guards. I think the plan is to kind of get Denzel work back in tonight, get Jalen work back in on Friday, and then have everybody at full strength minus Jaden Quaintance for the Louisville game on a week from today.
That would be, yes, that sounds perfect. I hope that's exactly how it plays out. I'm excited that they'll at least have Denzel back in the lineup. You could tell that upon the rewatch, I didn't think that Colin Chandler did nearly as maybe poorly as it kind of seemed.
Felt in real time.
Yeah, as it felt in real time. He definitely wasn't, above average, but I wasn't as disappointed when I watched it back as I kind of was initially. But that being said, I think Denzel is just a much better option there to kind of be the guy that can bring the ball at the floor. One thing I will say is, so according to Brandon Ramsey's scouting report, this Nicholls team loves to ball screen. A lot of high ball screens, that's kind of their big thing. I thought Kentucky was terrible defending the ball screens against Georgetown. A lot of guys were kind of getting picked on. Jasper Johnson, Otega Owe, even a little bit. Poor Trent Noah, just like they were kind of running whoever offense on him. Colin Chandler as well was involved in all this pick and roll. So I'm interested to see how that kind of plays out for Kentucky. Obviously, you've got the film on it now from a Georgetown game, and you're going up against a lesser opponent, so you should be able to fix some of those things. Can Kentucky just hit a couple threes tonight?
Yeah.
Can you go 11 for 30 instead of 7? Can you just knock in a few more and get yourself closer to that 40% mark? Because you just can't have Cam Williams and Jasper and Colin and Trent all go. What was it, Steven? What was the stat?
3 for 21.
3 for 21 from those 4, correct?
Yeah.
Against Georgetown. That just can't happen. So going to have some guys actually knock in some shots today. I do think that eventually comes, and hopefully it starts tonight. But that's kind of why my score prediction for Kentucky, I think, only had them scoring 83, and it's until I see them make 40% of their threes, I'm just going to kind of assume that it's not going to happen. So I'm just hoping I can be surprised in that regard.
Yeah, I do just kind of want to stress that when you're without your standout playmakers, both of them,
yes,
against Georgetown, against a Big East team that is known for, hard-nosed, punch you in the mouth and see how you respond, see if you can get off the mat. Like that's Ed Cooley to a T.
Yeah.
And I think I almost weirdly liked watching them in that moment and watching them kind of struggle a little bit. Like, all right, you're going to experience this against the Georgias of the world. You're going to experience this just like we saw last year against Ohio State and Georgia last year. So I'm glad that we got to see them out of their element, uncomfortable as all get out, and not being able to create easy shots and try to get creative in ways and respectfully get their teeth knocked in. So I think with Denzel back in, they'll be able to create a little bit easier, a little bit better. And then obviously Jalen, when he comes back, hopefully Friday, it should be kind of back to normal with after Fridays when I would start getting concerned about the shooting.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully things are a little bit better tonight and then way better on Friday going into the game that matters most on a week from today.
Yeah, you almost can't stress enough how important Jalen is just for setting the table in general, the way he can get into the lane and kick the ball out. He's just going to create easier opportunities for Trent Noah and Cam Williams and the like, who I thought still were getting some decent shots up, but I think you'll get better opportunities, better looks when you have a guy like Jalen that's actually facilitating and running the show. So it's still kind of hard to take too much away from all of the three-point shooting and the offense in general and all that, and even the point of attack defense. I think Jalen's just kind of a better option. He's a good steals guy, someone that can help create some havoc in these ball screens that Georgetown was really kind of thriving in as well. And Georgetown also just hit a bunch of mid-range jump shots. Credit to them for taking them and making them. That's what UK was giving them. That's what they were doing. So I just don't think you're going to see that from Nicholls. They just don't have the talent overall. But, I said all this against Georgetown, and then KJ Lewis made me look like a fool.
To your credit, you did look dumb with the KJ Lewis comment.
Yes.
But you did stress that Ed Cooley's a great coach. You stressed that it could get ugly, and you kind of warned our fan base while I was sitting there going, they're going to win by 9,000. You were the voice of reason on this show, so you do deserve flowers there. Although you did look very, very dumb
for still getting it wrong.
For the KJ Lewis take.
Yes. Didn't feel great about that one afterwards. But anything else in particular you're really looking forward to? I will say Mo Diabate. I mean, we talk every time about this guy and how much he's probably going to be a fan favorite. He was still the best player, I think, on Kentucky's roster against Georgetown. I thought just relentless guy who's always working, always pushing on both ends of the floor. So I was very impressed to see that even when the game was kind of out of hand, he was still fighting really hard.
Although there were a couple injury scare moments where it was like, okay, I appreciate it, but also it's an exhibition game and you're getting your ass kicked, so let's not just do something.
Drive, man.
Let's not do something dumb. And I asked him about it afterward, and he was like, I'm a winner, I'm a competitor, sorry, you know. I'm not going to change who I am just because of the competition, just because. So I think that's the safest bet of the season that Mo Diabate is going to be. You'll never question whether he's bringing it any given night. So, Denzel Aberdeen is very similar to that. And I think that type of edge is going to be huge even tonight, just to kind of set the tone to, I think no matter how many minutes he plays, just getting him out there and his presence, I think, is going to be just absolutely massive to kind of get the season started off on the right foot.
Anything else from this game that you're really looking forward to? I feel like we've kind of touched on a lot of guys here, but anything on your mind?
I do want to see how the front court dynamic works out, because the competition is weak. They're a taller group. I think they have 11 guys that stand, or
they have a lot of 6'6" guys, and then maybe a couple of 6'10", 6'11" guys.
So they have size, but not Malachi Moreno size, not Brandon Garrison size. So I am fascinated by that one, and I think the talent is just going to be something that's pretty overwhelming to them.
Yes.
So who is going to win that battle? Don't want to tip show my hand too much, but I do think Malachi Moreno is going to be the game MVP. I think this is going to be a really big opportunity to kind of, assert himself as hey, I'm a starter quality center on game one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really liked some of the things we saw from Moreno and Yelovich when those two were working together in the last game. Yelovich said afterwards that those two were kind of the guys that work together during practice. Then you've got Mo and Brandon Garrison that kind of work together with their group of front court pieces. So. Yeah, I think the dynamic was interesting. Obviously, you've got Mo, Brandon, and who we got here?
Bradley.
Yep. A good friend.
Good Bradley.
You got your big guys were shooting a bunch of threes and hitting a few of them. So, I do think I don't even know where I was going with any of that, honestly, but I think you're going to see 20 minutes a game from all the forwards tonight. You might even get some Reese Potter minutes in there if you get lucky in the game.
Over under 4.5 Reese Potter minutes.
Under.
You think?
Yes. Maybe 2.5. I'll give him.
Okay.
I'll give him 3 minutes.
Over under 3.5 minutes for Braden Hawthorne.
Under, probably. I mean, he did play 30 seconds in the Purdue game. Maybe.
He played 4 seconds. In
the Purdue game. Yeah. So this is an opportunity to do that. But I think you'll probably see maybe the final 2 minutes or something. You'll see the victory cigars.
So we know Colin is going to be starting tonight.
Yeah.
What do you need to see out of him to not kind of start trending toward the should we be concerned about sophomore year Colin Chandler?
Kind of what I was saying at the beginning, it just wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. He's always moving, he's always working, he's always doing something. I think that's beneficial for him. And this is just not the position he's going to be playing whenever Jalen, and honestly tonight whenever Denzel comes back. He'll be sliding more off ball, and I just think that's where he's better suited. But you still saw some good stuff from him, getting out in transition. He's not used to playing point guard, and he just made mistakes playing point guard. That's just kind of the reality of it. So I think long term, these few games of doing that will be beneficial, but for right now, it's not what you want to see, because you want to see Colin playing well, but he's just not really put in a position to play to his strengths. So I'm not going to put any huge, massive expectations on Colin until both Denzel and Jalen Lowe are back, because I still think he can get to that. Because I really, and even Cam Williams, who I thought the guy just refuses to try and attack the basket, but he plays defense. He's always playing hard. His body is just so long and big that he can he can make himself impactful out there without actually scoring the ball. But I'd really love to see a couple of threes go in from him. I'd love for Trent Noah to start knocking a few down, because Trent's just hard to play out there. It feels like if he's not making shots, or if he can't finish on his cuts, finish his layups, it feels like he's hard to play right now. And that can all change. We're still early on. This is literally the first game that we're about to go into. But yeah, I'm not going way too high on the my roller coaster. My strap is off on the Colin Chandler.
God, that was so stupid.
Yeah, I'm not even on the roller coaster.
That was so
Colin
stupid.
Chandler
I caught myself immediately.
Yeah, you could hear the pause in your breath, and I couldn't have gone to my laptop faster to send a text to Jack about it.
What have I done?
Yes.
What have I done?
It was classic. You did it at the happy hour a few weeks ago as well. Did a little Freudian slip.
What was that one?
I don't remember what it was. It's probably not appropriate to say on YouTube, but we were joking about it for a while. It was a long time ago, but back to this.
Mark
game.
Pope is the king of confidence. He is the guy that, like, hey, I will never let you, let go of the rope. Like, I'm going to instill confidence in you until you just have nothing left to give anymore. We saw that, even like the Travis Perry last year, and some of the guys that, Jackson Robinson was the perfect example, a guy who kind of had that, up and down and, mental up and down. Yeah. He just never, ever, ever strayed away from him. And I think we're going to see something similar with Colin Chandler. Cam Williams, who was just terrified with every single shot that he took last week. I think that's going to be another thing. Draw up a couple early shots for him. Try to just kind of force that confidence and see if they could get some early shots to fall and kind of let everything else fall into place. So I'm not concerned about shooting yet. Wait until Friday before I kind of start getting really concerned. But I think tonight's going to be a hot shooting night. I think this ends up being the revenge game that, I think they got under their skin a little bit about losing on their home floor. That was a big talking point yesterday, talking to Jasper Johnson and Brandon Garrison, that, they really took to heart losing on this home floor, needing to protect the home floor. So I think they're going to take all of their defensive and shooting struggles from last game, and also just the idea of them losing on this floor. And I think it's going to come together in the form of a complete game with them inching closer to full strength. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Let's share some picks and some MVP picks.
Score prediction, 83-59 Cats. Like I said, I'm not going to get them in that 90-point range until I see them actually start to hit all their shots. I'm not, like you said, I'm not concerned about it yet, but I just want to see it happen before I start predicting them to score 90 points. But I do have it being 83-59 because I think you're going to see Kentucky lock down on defense tonight. They're going to really take that beating against Georgetown to heart, and unfortunately take it on this poor Nicholls team. And you're going to see them hold them to sub 40% shooting, keep them to 59 points, under 60. It'll be a very all-around special defensive performance. Offense, I think you'll see some highs and lows.
I think it's going to be...
I didn't pick an MVP, but you go, and I'll figure it out.
No,
I don't have one. I don't have one yet, actually.
All right, I'm going with a full, complete performance. Kentucky wins 91-56. They cover the spread. It's an absolute butt-kicking from start to finish. I do think they make shots. I think it's going to be one of those, like, 5 guys finishing double figures. But I think that Malachi Moreno ends up being the Kentucky MVP. I think he finishes with his first career double-double, and really, just like I said earlier, kind of inches closer and closer toward that starting role that it won't happen with Jaden Quaintance in the lineup, but I think he will be playing starter minutes by the time the season ends, and I think tonight's a good little test for him.
I'm going to stick with the double-double prediction, but I'm going to go with Mo. Okay. I just think he's going to have I think the size advantage, his toughness, his physicality will just be a little bit too much for Nicholls to handle. I think you'll see him waltz into a 15-10 night.
Oh,
maybe grab three, 4 assists as well to kind of round out his game. Big performance from Mo coming.
Well, hopefully it's a big celebratory performance for the Cats, and we are finishing up right somewhere over there afterward with the rapid reaction. Crowd starting to fill in a little bit. What do you think the crowd's going to be tonight, Zach?
Honestly, it might be better than the Georgetown game. I think that one was just kind of a weird time, Thursday before Halloween. Maybe just kind of coming off the Purdue game as well. So I think you're going to see a pretty much close to a full crowd tonight.
Speaking of Halloween, this guy got engaged.
I did.
Shout out Zach Gagan. He's engaged. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I got engaged on Halloween night. He spent my girlfriend, Meredith Underwood. Shout out, girl.
He spent 3-year salary on it, so shout out. The ring is massive.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious. It is just said.
It's an actual boulder. Yeah, there's no sparkle or anything.
It's stunning. So for Jack Pilgrim, for Zach Gagan, the newly
Mr.
engaged,
Zach Gagan,
the newly engaged Zach Gagan, we're going to go inside Rupp Arena. Hopefully, come back right over there sometime and celebrate a big time Kentucky win. Go Cats.